Fernando Ruiz art. Hi everybody, and we are looking at infectious lass. Infectious lass, this is a real character, I'm not making her up. Infectious lass is a member of DC Comics' The Legion of Substitute Heroes. So if you've been following me on Instagram and on Facebook, you'll know that I've been posting one Legionnaire each day, the Legionnaire of the day. So each day I've been drawing a separate Legion of Superheroes cast member, character. So I've been penciling them, inking them, and coloring them. So coming soon will be Infectious Lass, who is a member of the Legion of Substitute Heroes with the power to make people sick. And I'm not making that up. So she's underway. Okay, but our lesson today we're going to do part 3 of the face. We have been discussing in earlier parts how to draw the head and how to apply the face grid. And we've looked in part 1, we learned how to draw the head in a straight-on view. And in part 2, we learned how to do a profile. So now what I want to do is go over the dreaded what we call the 3/4 view. And this is called the 3/4 view because it is not completely a straight-on view, but it is not completely a profile either. We see, in theory, the 3/4 of the front of the figure. Now, this 3/4 view, there's a range to it, okay? Because there's a little bit of ground between the point a head is looking straight on and between the point where it turns totally in profile. So there's degrees to the 3/4 view, and that's gonna influence what we do. But how we start, and if you didn't catch those first 2 parts, the straight on view and the profile, I'll link to those below. So you can catch them at your leisure. There may be a little bit of overlap, but I still recommend you watch those. Okay, so we have the oval. As always, we start out with the oval. Even though we're going to really be going off the oval with this view, but we still start out with it. And in the straight on view, you might remember that we divided the head vertically in half just by drawing a line straight down like this. Well, we're going to be doing the same thing, but now rather than going straight down, we are going to curve that line. Now, how much you curve that line, and I just want to get rid of that first line so it doesn't confuse us. How much you curve that line is really going to depend on just how severe of a 3/4 view you're going for. So if the head is really turned, you're going to want to push that line more. If it's turned just slightly, you're just going to want to curve it a little bit. And believe me, at the beginning, when you first start to apply this, there is going to be a whole lot of trial and error. The more you do this, the sharper your instinct for this will get. So be patient with yourself. Okay, so we've divided the head in half vertically. Now what I'm going to do is divide the 2 halves in half vertically as well. So it's almost like I'm turning my oval kind of into a basketball here. And these curves are just going to follow that same curve of my very first line. Once again, the severity of the curve is going to depend on the severity of the 3/4 view. Okay. Once these are in place, then I want to divide my oval in half horizontally, and these lines can be straight. Okay, so I'm just going straight across the middle. And then that lower half, I want to divide that horizontally as well. And then that lower quarter, I'm dividing that horizontally in half as well. So that's my grid. That's my 3/4 grid. Now, just like with the straight on view, this first line, that's my eye line. So I'm going to follow that line, go to that first intersection, and this is where I'm going to place an eye, my first eye. Keeping in mind, and I talked about how to draw eyes in another video, and I might link to that one too. The eye is going to get more compressed the further away it is from us, the viewer. Okay, so this eye is going to look a little narrower. Okay, we're going to then our next eye, and we're going to keep going on this line, go through this middle intersection, and then go to this third intersection, and this is where our other eye is going to go. Okay, so this eye is going to be wider than this one is, because this one, however slightly, this eye is closer to us than this eye. This eye is just a little bit further apart. Okay, so that's the eyes. Now we come down to the next line, and this is our nose line. Okay, we're going to follow that nose line right to the center, right to this intersection, and we're going to pull away. We're going to pull away to put that forward ball of that intersection. And how much we're going to pull away, that totally depends on the nose that we're drawing. So if we're drawing a big nose, you may want to pull away more. If it's not such a severe nose, we're going to want to pull away less. Okay, so that's our nose. Next, we have the mouth line. Now for the mouth line, we want to follow that intersection to that follow that mouth line to that first intersection. And that's where our mouth is going to begin. It's going to come up, dip down, dip up again, and come down to that third intersection. Keep in mind that out of all the features, I know we often hear that the eyes are so expressive and the most expressive feature. The mouth can really change shape more than any other feature. So where it lies on the grid can really depend on the expression you're going for, what the mouth is doing. Is it open? Is it closed? Is it pulled more to one side? Is it smiling, frowning, gritting teeth? All of this comes into play. So really, really have in mind an idea of what you want the mouth to be doing. Okay, now what I'm going to do is place my ear, because that's a pretty big landmark. And the ear is going to go right in between the eye and the nose line back here. And once the ear's in place, well, now what I want to do is shape my oval. So I want to give my person here a bit of a brow. I want to give him a bit of a cheek. It's going to come down. I want to fill out the chin and go into the jawline, and the jaw is going to come back and dip in at the earlobe. Then I want to come up, give my guy a little bit of a skull, a little cranium, flesh out his head, maybe mount it on a neck, begin the neck over here, and I have my 3/4 view. And that's really it. 3/4 facing to our left, his right. Now, keep in mind, I want to go back to the point I made earlier. This curve is everything. So you're going to want to practice this a lot till you really develop, because you're going to see, you're going to make mistakes. It's almost inevitable that you'll make mistakes. But as I said before, the more you practice, the more faces you draw, the more your sensitivity to that curve will sharpen, and you'll be able to not be taken by surprise, because it's very easy to make that curve. You go to put in your features and you say, oh, this curve isn't as sharp as I want it, or it's too sharp. So a little practice and you'll be more aware of that. After that, what I also suggest is really really practice your heads, really draw lots of heads, and that's really the best way to do it. Because this grid that we've been talking about in these past couple of videos, and this is now part 3 in this series, the grid moves. The grid moves with whatever direction the head is facing. And we need to also get used to being able to imagine this grid. When we're sitting down to draw a face, we need to be able to say, oh, okay, this person is looking up and over. So this is how the grid will roll with this person's angle. I may do a video on the dreaded upshot. And I say dreaded because people have a hard time with that area of the chin and the jaw. So that may be an upcoming video. But my big point here, folks, is practice. Really practice. Draw lots of heads, lots of faces, especially these complicated 3/4 angles. Because let's face it, we're not, unless we're drawing a lot of wanted posters and driver's license photos, we're not going to be doing too many straight on shots. We always want to go for that more interesting angle. So these angles are the ones to really practice. I often suggest in my classes, an exercise is to just get pictures of people, of headshots, lay down some tracing paper and kind of reverse apply the grid to the face. And this will help sharpen your eye and get you used to seeing and imagining that grid. Okay, give it a try. And if you have any questions, as always, please post them in the comments section below. I want to thank you for tuning in. As always, please, if you enjoyed this, click like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell. We've got many more lessons to cover. I know I've got people who've requested topics, and we will be getting to them. Some of my students have asked me to show them how to draw buildings, how to do some non-Caucasian skin tones, and we'll be doing that. And also I even have a request to draw breasts. So we will be doing that coming up soon. And hopefully YouTube won't ban me. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.